In episode 1, we talked about changing your golf grips. Today, we're going to talk about changing the club length. How do you make it shorter? I'm going to show you how. Let's go. Hi everyone, welcome to the Mobile Club Maker. I'm AJ. I want to thank you for watching this video today. If you enjoy it, if you find it informative, go ahead, hit that like button down below or subscribe to our channel. So, episode 2, we're talking about changing the length of the golf club. How do we do it? Well, I'm going to break it down into 3 parts today. First, we're going to talk about the tools you need to do the job. Second, we're going to take some measurements before and after. We're going to see what happens when you change the length of the golf club. How does it influence other parts of the golf club? Third, I'm going to walk you through the process step by step. As always, I've got my workbench camera up above to help show what I'm doing, and anything I need to highlight that I think is important, I'll put over here on the side of the screen. So let's get started. So first, let's talk about the tools you're going to need. A vise clamp to hold the shaft, grip tape, grip solvent, a utility knife with a hooked blade, a ruler, some sort of measuring stick, tape measure to measure the length of the golf club, and also something to cut the shaft with. So first off, I'm going to get my scale, which is essentially just a basic kitchen scale that measures in ounces or grams. So we'll put that on there. We will zero that out. Bring this to the edge of the table so it will balance, and we will measure it. What do we got? 430 grams. Go ahead, write that down. 430. Next, we're going to take a swing weight measurement. We've got our swing weight scale here. Put this in. All right, this 7-iron, as it sits right now, is just about D5. Lastly, we're going to take one more measurement. We're going to do a frequency measurement. What is a frequency measurement? A frequency measurement is basically just a way to tell us how stiff the shaft is. Clamp it in this vise clamp over here, and on the other end is this tool, which has a laser passing in between these two ends. Basically counts how many times the shaft moves between the laser over a period of time. The more times it goes through the laser, the stiffer the shaft is. Let's go ahead. Get a measurement there. 302. All right. Process is very quick. A lot of it is going to be very similar to the regripping process, just with 1 or 2 extra steps. So first, we're going to get our hooked utility knife. Go ahead, cut this grip off. Remember, keep your hand away from the cutting blade on the other side of it. I'm going to pull it down, cut it off. Okay, we just got all the tape off there. Next thing to do is measure it and figure out where we're going to cut it. We want this at 37 inches, and I'm going to measure it and mark it right here. Now, if you'll notice, I'm not actually going to cut it at 37 inches because we have to remember when we put the grip on, the grip is going to add a little bit of length to the club, which means we have to factor that in. The grip adds about 1/4 of an inch to the end of the club. So when we're putting length equations together, we want to make sure we leave that space there so that our clubs aren't 1/4 inch too long every time. Okay, we've gone ahead, we've marked our club for where we're going to cut it. I'm going to go ahead now and clamp it into this vise. All right. Again, anytime you're using any sort of power tools, you always want to use some safety glasses. Also doesn't hurt to have a pair of shop gloves. Let's go ahead and cut this. Okay, so we just cut the shaft. Take that out of the vise. Take our vise clamp off. Here's the end of it. You can just peel that off. Put that there. Anytime you cut a shaft, you want to go ahead, tap it down on the ground a little bit because you're going to have some little bits of metal or graphite down in there. You just want to make sure you get that out before you put a new grip on, otherwise it'll be rattling around. If you have any little burrs or anything like that on the end of it from where you cut it, just take a little piece of sandpaper, wind it around there a couple times, good to go. All right, let's put the new grip on. Give it a little wiggle at the end, make sure it's on there good and tight. Good. Make sure we get our logo lined up with the head. Let's see how this looks. That looks pretty darn good. Tap it on the ground a few times. All right, so we've now cut the club down a 1/2 inch. Let's take a new static measurement. Let's take a swing weight. This is probably going to be about D2. And finally, go ahead, take another frequency measurement. Okay, we were at 302 last time. Let's see what we are this time. 308. So basically, what happened there when we cut that club down is it got a little bit lighter, just a couple grams. The swing weight got a little bit lighter, about 3 swing weight points, and the shaft got just a tiny bit stiffer. Not really even enough to worry about, but these are just things you want to be aware of when you go and cut down a club. So that's it. We've cut a 1/2 inch off this club. We've re-gripped it. We've also touched on the static weight change, the swing weight change, and the frequency change that happens when we do cut down a club. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like it or subscribe to our channel. Until next time, keep it in the short grass.